because usually when you're not aware and you don't have the correct information, like, and I used to feel that way too. I used to be just like that. I could feel them, but it would mortify me because I wasn't able to sort out their energy from everything that was going on in my head. And once you're able to do that, even when it's a negative entity, and I've had those quite a few times, I had to remember I was watching, I'm a horror movie fanatic, and I know that sounds crazy coming from me, but the reason why I was a horror movie fanatic at the time was because, but it was certain horror movies. It wasn't all horror movies. It was always the kind of horror movies where the monster got defeated in the end. And it was always a woman in most, excuse me, in most of those movies that would defeat the monster. And the message was always, they live off your fear. The more you're afraid, the more they bother you. It's kind of like a dog. They can smell your fear and they'll pick with you and aggravate you because they know you're afraid of them. Well, that's kind of how it was. Nightmare on Elm Street was definitely, I'll have to say, my favorite because that's exactly what it was. The first one was the best because in the end, her name was Nancy. She was the main character. She realized that he was feeding off of her fear. And once she realized that he done killed off all of her friends, all the people she loved, and she realized, wow, you're here because of me. You're here because I'm afraid of you. But I'm not afraid of you anymore. And she turned her back on him until he turned into energy and he disappeared because she was no longer afraid. And she told him, I take back every bit of energy that I gave you. You're nothing. And she turned her back and he turned into energy and he disappeared. And I say that to people who can see and feel entities that don't feel so positive or feel negative.